Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you're watching this, know that I appreciate you. Oh, excuse me. Um, I started the video like that because I don't know if I'm going to combine this video with my earlier one. So, just in case I don't, I wanted to give it the proper start. But in case I do, all of this will be cut out. You'll never know I did it. But I just wanted to come back on real quick and give a little bit more information about the surgery. So, excuse me. Um, I had to go to Dallas for the surgery, and the doctor that did the surgery is, oh, sorry, feeling just a little nauseated. Not sure why. But the doctor that did the surgery is based in Dallas, and she has another office in Plano, but Dallas is closer. Excuse me. And it just made more sense because the surgery was going to be done in, oh, I thought I muted this. Sorry. The surgery was going to be in Dallas anyway, so it just made sense for me to go to her Dallas office versus her Plano office, because at least this way I got to get a little bit familiar with the hospital and the parking and all that over there. So I had to go see her a couple of times prior to the actual surgery. And oh, excuse me, I am tired, and I dozed off a little earlier. Sorry about that. I dozed off a little earlier, but woke up suddenly, so I haven't been back to sleep yet. And I haven't really done much since I've been awake because I just haven't had the energy to it. So I finished my dinner from last night, which was a grilled cheese and turkey sandwich. I couldn't finish it last night, so I finished it just a little bit ago for lunch, and the rest of the chips that I had and the soda. But anyway, so I had to go see her a few times at her office. Once to discuss everything, why I was having the surgery in the first place. Then to come in for, I had to go in for something else I don't remember right now. And then I had to go back for the blood work, the post-op stuff. So I had to go back Monday to get blood work done and to get an EKG done and make sure my heart could take the surgery, which I was confident that it could, because I've not had any heart issues since I was much younger. And they have corrected themselves. So that was fine. But then I had to go over to the hospital to get an x-ray done. And when I got there that day, they couldn't find my order from the surgeon to get the work done. Maybe if I sit up differently, I'll lose this. It just hit me all of a sudden. Okay, maybe this will help. Had to get an x-ray done, but they didn't have my order, so I didn't get the x-ray done. And when I talked with the people in admitting, they were like, well, since you have to be here so early the day of the surgery, maybe we can just do the x-ray that morning. So I did that. Oh, excuse me. So I said okay with that. I agreed to that. However, when I got there, they opted not to do the x-ray because I'd had the EKG done and the blood work done. So they brought me up to the prepping floor. My husband and I, they brought us up to the prepping floor, called us back, got me all dressed for the surgery. Did more blood work just so they could type it just in case I had to have a transfusion, which I did at some point through the surgery because of the mess that was there. And so I did lose some blood while in there, and they did end up having to give me blood while in there, which they didn't tell me until after the fact, but that was fine because I thought there might be a possibility of that, since with the first surgery, they ended up having to give me blood after the fact. So I wasn't surprised when she said they had to do it while in surgery. So got all prepped for the surgery, and they took us to another area, another prepping area, like where you go right before surgery happens. And my husband was nervous. You could see that he was. Like I said before, he doesn't really deal well with situations like this. And there's a history behind that. So this kind of just, this made him really uneasy. And it scared him, bottom line, it scared him. Like I said, there's a history behind it, but it scared him. So I remember the doctor coming in and me introducing her to my husband and letting him know that she was the one that's going to be doing the surgery. Her assistant came in, and then they had to wait for the anesthesiologist to get there because he was the one that was going to actually, well, you know, administer the anesthesiology, or the anesthetics rather. So I remember him coming in and talking to me. I already had the IV put in. So I knew that what he would do was, you know, prep me a little bit with some meds to make me sleepy, and then they would take me back. Well, I don't even remember him giving the meds to make me sleepy. He came in, we talked, and the next thing I know, I was waking up. So I never even saw him like go behind me because my husband said that's what he did. He didn't put it directly into my IV in my hand. He went behind me and put it in the bag that was hanging, but I don't even remember him doing that. So he gave me the meds to make me sleepy. The next thing I know, I'm waking up. And sorry. So I'm waking up, and I should have put this on the mount before I got started. So I'm waking up, and you know, I'm nauseous a little and had the urge to throw up, but couldn't. And now I'm having a hot flash. Oh God, I should have put this on a mount so I can move around a little bit better. Ay. But so I woke up a little nauseous, and for whatever reason, my husband decided that he needed to call everybody and tell everybody that I was awake, which, I mean, it was cute. It was fine. I was okay with it, but I was still like really incoherent. So he's trying to tell everybody that I'm awake and everything is all right and blah, blah, blah. However, I am in no shape to have a conversation with everyone, and he's trying to get me to have conversations with everyone. And it was not like really successful. I scared the crap out of my grandson because he's had to deal with, you know, people being in the hospital already at his young age of 5. So whenever he sees anyone in that predicament, it scares him because the last person he remembers being in the hospital passed away. And so it kind of makes him scared to see anyone in that situation. So I scared my grandson. I've yet to talk with my granddaughter. I don't know. The last time I tried, and I haven't tried since I've been home. I haven't tried since before the surgery. But the last time I tried talking to her, her mom didn't answer. And that's a whole nother story. But, yeah, so, and I'm trying to mount this, so I'm going to move it around a little bit because I need to put it on the mount instead of holding it so I can move around a little bit. But anyway, so yeah, I am in the hospital. My husband's trying to get me to talk to everybody. There we go. He's trying to get me to talk to everybody, and it's just like, how am I supposed to be able to talk to these people? I can't. I can barely talk to you. But he was just relieved that I was awake and everything was good. So he had seen the scars already. They had already shown him the scars, so he knew where they were, and he was telling me where they were when I woke up. And he asked me if I had seen them. I'm like, no, I haven't seen them yet. So yeah, he was just really excited that I was all right, and I love that. Men show their love differently than women do. Most men show their love differently than women do, and he's that typical male where it's hard for him. He can say I love you. He can say it with no problem that, you know, he loves me, but being able to show it the way that I would like it has been a journey for him, because for him, showing he loves someone usually means he wants to buy them something. And it's usually something expensive, and that's just, for me, not my love language. I know it's his love language. It's part of his love language, but it's not mine. So, he's learning that I need him to show me in other ways. And yeah, you can tell me that you love me, but I need you to show me by being that support for me, or just by being there beside me or encouraging me. And he needs the same thing. His love language is actually very similar to mine once we get down to it. His is very similar to mine, but not quite exactly. Because buying him expensive things, he enjoys, he likes, he has a very particular taste. So buying him expensive things, or him looking or dressing a certain way, really means a lot to him. But he's also learned that sometimes that's not necessary. And it's taken him a while to get there. It's taken him a while to get there. But I say all of that to say that his way of showing me that he was really excited that I was okay was really to show everybody else that I was okay, that, you know, he had taken care of me during this, that I made it, you know, through the surgery and everything was fine. And then it was even more crazy because he decided he wanted me to, you know, get up and take a stroll through the hospital. So I was like, okay, I mean, sure, why not? So Friday morning, that's what we did. We got up eventually, and he didn't make me walk it. He put me in the wheelchair, and he said, okay, I'm going to show you around the hospital. And it just made him feel good to know that he could do that he could get me out of the bed for one, and then get me out of the room and wheel me around to the other. And he just was really careful about how he did that. At one point, you know, you got the thresholds, and at some of the thresholds, they had these little, and they weren't this high, but they were thresholds that kind of were raised from floor to floor, from floor material to floor material. So there were a couple of times when he would roll over those, and they were too high, and the bump would jostle me, and there was instant pain. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry." But then there was a time when we were waiting for the elevator, and he just rested his head on my shoulder, you know, and I just thought that was so awesome, because that said to me that he was really concerned and he was really glad that everything was all right. I mean, he had kind of said it, but for him to actually make that gesture, it reassured me that everything was all right. And he showed me that he was, you know, really happy. So that was Thursday and Friday. They released me Friday afternoon, and thankfully we were able to get home before the rain. I mean, there was rain, but we were able to get home before it got really, really bad, because we live an hour away. Depending on traffic, it could be more than an hour away from excuse me, away from Dallas. So yeah, that was a nice little journey home. And he got me home, got me up the stairs. And he doesn't really like driving, so it was a little nerve-wracking for him to drive, for one. And then drive that distance for another. And then to drive with me, just having had surgery, for a third thing. So yeah, that was a little nerve-wracking. But we made it home. He got me in, and I took pain meds, and I think I ate a little something because I knew that I needed to eat before I took some more pain meds. So I ate a little something, and then I ate and I took my meds, and then I got in the bed. And he was tired. He was exhausted because neither one of us slept through the night. I mean, you can't really sleep through the night at the hospital because they're always coming in and checking on you. So neither one of us really got sleep. So when we did get some sleep, we did. And he was every time I move, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? What's going on?" So yeah, we did that. We went out Saturday for a little bit because I hadn't put my prescription in. He and I both happened to have some pain meds here already. So that's what I took when we got home. But Saturday, I knew I had to have my pain meds, specifically what the doctor had given me this time around. So I wanted to go ahead and put those in and get those filled. So we did that, and that was a chore because we dropped it off, ran an errand. He worked my nerves during his other errand because, again, he doesn't like to drive. And to drive any distance is a bother for him. And I actually do more driving than he does. I do more exploring than he does by myself. So I was familiar with the areas that he was going to, but because I can't drive for 2 weeks, I wasn't behind the wheel. So he just kind of worked my nerves with his impatience. But finally we got back to the pharmacy, and I'm sorry, one sec. My nose is starting to run. Okay. We got back to the pharmacy, and there was a super long line. I take that back. The line wasn't long at all. I was the first person in line, but there were 2 people already at the registers, and the cashiers were really, really slow. And then there was also someone waiting to be seen by someone else. So I'm standing there in pain. There were no scooters. There never, okay, I won't say never. That's extreme. There are hardly ever any working motorized scooters in Walmart. And this particular Walmart only has 4 or 5. And if the senior citizens come in and get them, those who may medically need them won't have anything available. So of course I walked through the door and there are no scooters. So I had to, thankfully I told him to walk me or to drive me down to the pharmacy entrance just in case there were no scooters. So I'm glad that he did that, because when I walked through that door, there were no scooters there. I didn't have far to walk to the pharmacy, but it was still a walk. So we did that, put my meds in, and when we came back, I had him do the same thing. Let me out at the pharmacy entrance just in case there are no scooters. And of course, there were no scooters. So I'm standing there and I'm waiting to get my stuff, waiting to be called to the cashier. There are two people already up there at the cashiers. There's one lady on the side, and then this lady behind me. And she wasn't, really annoying, but I was annoyed because of the pain that I was in. And she tapped me on the shoulder and she said, is there one line or two lines? And I just kind of half turned and said, there's one line. And then I realized the way I said it was kind of rude. So I explained to her, there is only one line, but she was probably waiting on something else. So they're more than likely going to take care of her before they get to us. And sure enough, that's what they did, but it was still annoying. And so they finally called me up. My meds are ready. They take them over to the pharmacy window and call for a consult. And then the lady that was there already, she's standing there. I'm standing there. And then the lady that's behind me that tapped me on the shoulder, she walks up. And instead of her realizing that there was an order, well, I can't say that. I'm sure she realized it because she saw the other lady. She tapped me on the shoulder, so she knew that I was there and I was right in front of her. And she was clearly the third person. She's trying to get ahead of the two of us to get her meds. And the first lady was finally assisted, so she walked away. The pharmacist comes over, and this third lady proceeds to walk up to the counter. I'm like, excuse me. So the pharmacist understands that right away, and he says, okay, I'm looking for Robinson. And I said, okay, thank you. So I walk up, and she looks, and she, oh, okay, and steps back. But why is there a question? That's my question. Why is there a question that I go ahead of you when I was in front of you in line? I was called to the register before you, and I'm standing over here waiting for the consult. Why is there even a question that I will go ahead of you now? So the pharmacist, so I'm agitated. I'm agitated already because I'm in pain. I'm standing up there waiting. It took them forever to call to the register. Then it took him forever to come over. So he's like, well, how are you? I'm in pain. I'm tired. I'm ready to get up out of here. Can I get my meds? Let's go. He's like, well, have you had? Yes, I've had both of these before. I just need my meds. Okay. He gives me my stuff. I walk away. The lady gets her stuff and she zooms past me. She didn't apologize for trying to get ahead of me. She just kind of zoomed around me and kept going. Okay, fine. Now I'm really agitated because you're walking faster than me. And I know that's childish, but it was like, I mean, one, they rarely have more than one line. Two, you were behind me. What makes you think you're supposed to get in front of me? And now, four, you walking faster than me. Yeah, I was so agitated at that point. So I get in the car, I get home. All I want to do is take my meds and go to bed. But I knew I couldn't just take the meds and go to bed. I had to put something on my stomach. And I was starting to feel nauseous because of the pain. And it wasn't even like bad. It was just annoying. So I ate a little something. I don't remember what I ate, but I ate a little something and then took my meds and lay down. So that was Saturday. Sunday, I woke up feeling better, thank God. And I knew I needed to get out of the house. So I, convinced my husband to take me to the grocery store so we could go get some onions that he had forgotten to pick up the day before, which in reality we don't need right now because I wasn't cooking anything. But he had bought some potatoes the day before and he wanted to go buy some onions because he really likes potatoes and onions. So I was like, well, let's just go to the store and get the onions. So he's like, nope, we're not going. You're not going anywhere. I'm like, I just need to get out and get some air. So we talked to my oldest on the phone for a bit, and he was like, well, yeah, Pops, she knows she need to get out and get some air. So we went out to get some air and came on back because I knew I wasn't going to be able to be out for long. I just didn't have the energy for it, but got out, got some air, and came back in and rested. I got a little restless, so I got up and just kind of walked around the apartment. And he just looked at me like, really? You need something to do. I know you do. Because I'm used to doing stuff. I'm used to either straightening up or getting on the computer or... And I did get on the computer for a little bit, but not for long. I did check some emails, but I didn't check all of them. Like, I can't even imagine how many emails I have right now because I had over 100 yesterday. So I don't even want to think about how many I have right now. But yeah, so I did a little bit of that. And now I said to him yesterday, I'm like, you've had 4 days of kind of just resting and kind of doing nothing. And now you got to go back to work tomorrow. I don't know how you're going to make it. And he had a couple of little drinks. And I was like, yeah, you've been doing this all weekend. I don't know what you're going to do tomorrow. So he got up this morning with no problem. And he actually got out of the house a little earlier than he usually does with no problem. And he called me during his lunch break. And he said he was feeling all right. So I haven't really had the energy to do too much. And I don't feel bad about it. But I vowed that this time around that I would be obedient to my body. I would let my body do what it's supposed to do as far as the healing. I would listen to it when it told me to rest. And when I had the energy to get up and move around some more, I would do that. So that's where I am right now. Like I said before, I was able to get up and bathe and put on some clothes because I knew that would make me feel better. Unloaded the dishwasher, made a bowl of cereal, ate, and I was exhausted before I sat down to eat the cereal. So I knew I wasn't going to do much, and watched a couple of YouTube videos, watched some of the recorded shows on the DVR, and got up, moved around a little bit, ate the rest of my dinner from last night. And now I'm talking to you, and I'm going to try to get up and move around a little bit more. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm going to try to move around a little bit more. I want to go to the mailbox, but I don't. I'm not going to. I just don't have the energy to. So I'll probably just go sit on our balcony for a little bit to get some fresh air. I think that walk to the mailbox is going to be too much for me. And I'm just being honest with myself. It's going to be too much. So I'll probably go sit on the balcony for a little bit. I've got my bed loaded up with stuff that I know I'm going to need. And if anything, like I've got my good book, God Will Carry You Through by Max Lucado. I've got my journal. Something beautiful is on the horizon. I love journals. I have so many journals and I need to get more, but I haven't been writing like I need to, so that's why I haven't bought any more. But I got my journal, got my glasses, got all the freaking remotes possible, like every single remote for the cable, for the TV, for the thingy. What is it called? I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's not Apple TV. It's Amazon. Yeah. The Fire Stick. The Amazon Fire Stick. Got that remote. Got the house phone. Even though we don't use the house phone, but every once in a while it rings. And we know when it rings it's the wrong number. Because we don't even give out the house phone number. But, yeah. And I got my trusty phone. So, got water. Got my water. Stay hydrated. And in a minute, I'm going to turn on the fan. Because, like I said before, I'm having hot flashes. And they gradually go up. And then all of a sudden, they're high. It's hot. And then they slowly come back down. But when it gets hot, I gotta, like I'm in a sundress. I'm in a sun maxi, a strapless maxi, because it's like the best thing I could put on. And it's like, I think, has it gotten out? I don't know now because I don't have the temperatures on my phone. And I'm using my phone instead of the camera. But it's supposed to get up to like 90 today. I don't have any windows open. Because I can't lift the window. I'm not supposed to carry anything heavier than 10 pounds. And I'm not supposed to put any strain on myself unnecessarily. So I don't know how I'm going to get out on this doggone balcony because I've got to push that door to get it open. But I need some air. So I'm going to go sit on the balcony for a little bit. Hopefully my neighbor's dog is not out. I tell you, that's a whole nother rant, but I'll tell you, some people should not have dogs. Some people should not have pets. Period. They just shouldn't. They just shouldn't. And I'm not walking over to the management office, but I will probably call them today because I'm tired of how they treat this dog. I'm tired of, they leave the dog on the balcony to relieve itself. They don't take there's a grassy area right behind. We got our building, the parking lot, a grassy area, trees, and then the freeway. Of course, another grassy area between the trees and the freeway, but they don't take the dog to the grassy area. They put the dog on a balcony and let the dog do its business on the balcony. Leave the dog out there for a while, like hours. Dog gets, restless, gets to barking, is ready to come back in. They don't care. So how am I supposed to sit on my balcony during the summertime, especially on days like today? Like, it's supposed to get up to 90 degrees today. So now I got to deal with this dog and the dog's mess. And I don't mind the dog. It's not the dog's fault. It's the owner's fault. But I got to deal with that. I got to smell the crap that they didn't clean up. And not only is it that